Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrapping Cane. Today I'm sharing another layout for 30 days of sketches. Today is day 20. Today's sketch is by Miss Carrie's Creations. I will have her information down below. And I'm going to get started here. I'm going to use all 49 Market products today. I am going to create two separate layouts. So one is going to be the right side and then one is going to be the left side. I will start with the left side one first. It's going to be a single photo instead of two. And then the other one's going to be 3 photos instead of 4, but it'll still be like a grid type layout. So hopefully that made sense. And I'm going to use a lot of rub-ons, again, trying to use up the rub-ons since I opened them, and sometimes over time rub-ons can wear out, but also I'm doing the photos that I bought the rub-ons for, so I would like to get them used up. The pink ones, any of them that have like a more pink tone versus the orange or purple, I'm kind of placing to the side, and I will probably use those on a totally different layout, but not this particular layout. Anyways, um, I have these large rub-ons still left. I have a couple of pumpkins in here too that are ephemera pieces. And then I have lots of scraps and some 6x8 papers from the 6x8 paper pack, because that was mainly what I had of this collection, versus backgrounds, because I knew that I could use pretty much any other 49 and Market backgrounds, and I have lots of 49 and Market papers. So I didn't buy a lot of the bigger sheets of, this is Art Options Spice. I didn't buy a lot of the larger papers, the 12x12s. So here I'm just showing you a few of the papers that I picked out. This red one I am going to use on these two layouts, or actually I use it on one but not the other one, because he's riding around on a little car in the pumpkin patch that's red. So I decided to bring in that red, and it turns out really cute. I also bring in a few more laser cuts that were in another pack. When I went looking through my 49 and Market box, I found a pack that was from last fall or the fall before, and I had laser cuts and stuff in there from a different fall collection. So I went ahead and pulled those out, and I'm going to use those on a layout. I'm also going to use the rub-ons that look like mixed media. So this one here, I'm getting started right away with the big pumpkin. This was my last big pumpkin on the big rub-ons, and I wanted to get it on the layout. And then I'm going to place this brown paper here. I kind of fussy cut around it, but not really. I just kind of made it look like it went around the image, and then I distressed it, one with my scissors and then also with ink. And then I did the same thing to the little piece you see on the other side, and then I placed a smaller pumpkin rub on there. This one here is a rub on from the newest collection that just came out, that is like a fall outdoorsy related. I can't remember the name of it. It's not the crafty one, it's the other one. Anyways, if you guys really want the information, I can get it for you. It's just a rub-on that looks like a torn piece of paper. And then I tucked in that little pumpkin over there. I also put a rub-on pumpkin, but I kind of covered most of it up. So I added another one on top of the negative piece to cover up the end of the negative. And then I'm going to actually add my title down here at the bottom. And the title is just going to be Pumpkin Ride. And this was the hay ride over to the pumpkin patch where the actual pumpkins are held, and you get to pick your pumpkin from the patch. So that's what we were doing here. And I'm going to glue down these letters. They have no stick to them whatsoever. They do stick to the backing, but yeah, once you remove them from the backing, they have no stick at all. And that's typical thickers. They're a chipboard thicker, so they have no stick to them. And I just add a little bit of liquid glue. And then this part up here is what I'm taking from the sketch. Miss Carrie had 2 photos and then strips of paper behind the 2 photos. I'm going to do 1 photo and do little mini strips behind it and then have the rest of the layout complementing this basically. And 1, that was because my photo was smaller in size, and 2, I want to use the products. So that's how I decided to incorporate the layout today, or the sketch, sorry. This is the layout. Um, and I'm adding in a couple little acetate leaves over here on the papers and down at the bottom. Also, I wanted to have acetate in a couple of different places besides just the negative piece. And then up here at the top, I'm going to add this little frame, chop it off, ink it back up so that it matches. And then I'm going to place these 2 little tabs. They kind of remind me of bread bag tabs. They're kind of a cute design. I just added them up at the top. They say best and patch, so best patch. And then the little banner one says favorite days, which I thought was kind of fitting because this was, one of our favorite days was to go to pumpkin patches. And over here, I'm adding purple down on the right-hand side because there wasn't purple over there in that area. So I did that with the rub-ons and then a little butterfly and just some paint splatters. I'm going to add some sequins from my stash. These are Plum Royal. And I'm just going to place those down where I think they look good. And then I will go off camera, glue them down. And then I believe I will show you up close. And then I will show you a few close-ups before I get started on the right-hand side page. And sorry it's kind of sped up, but I really wanted to get both of the layouts in the video. And I didn't want it to be too long. This video is already 20 minutes long. So any longer than that, and then I just don't think it's really worth it. You can slow a YouTube video down. Of course, you're not going to have the same voiceover, but you can slow it down and, watch it at a slower pace if you want it to. But I think it's kind of self-explanatory. It's just a little bit, I kind of find it interesting how you place a layout together like this because there's lots of layers. But I think you can see that even though the video is sped up. So there's the close-ups. Now I'm going to get started on the other side. And this one's also going to be a landscape layout. And this is where I'm going to use all these large rub-ons that are like paint splatters. And I'm not going to use any of the purple ones. I'm going to use the tan, the brown, the green, and then I will also bring in the orange one also, but I haven't taken that one off yet. I haven't taken the green one off yet either. Maybe I did. Actually, I think I did. But basically, I was just going around. Again, it took me probably about 30 minutes to do this because I had to be strategic about how I was placing my colors down. I wanted them to be mixed, and I wanted it not straight edges. So with the rub-ons, if you just cut it, of course, it's going to make a straight edge. And there's a couple that I do end up with straight edges just because I wasn't able to blend them in because I ran out of rub-ons. So, but it's okay. I don't think it's very noticeable, and I really like the way that it looks. And I end up adding the laser cuts on top of it anyways around the edges, so I really don't think it stands out the straight edges. But here's where I'm adding in the orange, and the orange is only going to be basically in the corners, and it really does come off more as a red versus orange, and that's okay because this is the one that's going to have the red paper on it. So, and that paper is like a really dark, it's a nice red. It's not bright candy apple red. It's like a deep red. And most of it's going to be covered up again with photos and just embellishments, but I really like the way this layout turns out. I keep buying these rub-ons, but I haven't really worked with any of the mixed media rub-ons before. the larger ones. I've used the smaller ones before, but not the larger ones. And I really like this layout. So I might have to copy it for one of the other packs that I have. I haven't been buying these rub-ons lately just because I have 2 or 3 in my stash that I haven't used. So I'm just going to place the red paper right on top of it, flipped it around because I thought it kind of went better this way than the other way. I don't think it mattered. You could have did either way. These are little scraps that I found in the same laser cut pack. And I believe these were a Not Just for Boys kit that I absolutely loved. And I do have other layouts on my Instagram using 49 and Market and also using this collection here, which, like I said, was a 49 and Market fall collection. This one here, I had just this scrap left. It was basically about that big, a little bit more than half of the photo size, but definitely not big enough to mat the photo with. So I decided to cut, tear, and ink it and kind of piece it back together. So you'll see in the close-ups, you can actually see the lines where I tore it and then inked it up and placed it back together. But I think it kind of goes with the fall vibe. Like, fall is definitely distressing and tearing, and that's okay. The little scrap that the photo down at the bottom right is on was already tore and inked. Obviously, I was going to use it on a layout and it didn't make it, and I kept it. So I went ahead and used it on this one. And I'm just glad to get the scraps used up since I held on to them. But again, I really loved uh, the mix that was in this kit. So I went ahead and kept everything, hoping that, I would come back to it and use it again. And here I am. I used it up. So this one here on this side, I decided it's like a stitching. It's a fake stitched piece that was a border on one of the 49 Market papers. And I decided I was going to place it here at the edge of the red paper since the photos do not go all the way over. And it kind of leaves a bigger border on that side than the other side. So that's the reason I wanted to put that stitch one there. Here I'm cutting one of the laser cuts in half. So I can use half on the right and half on the left. But before I put the stitch border down, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to cover up where this cut was going to go. So I want to place that one down first. I didn't glue it down, obviously. I just placed it there to see what it was going to look like and decided it was okay to go ahead and place this one down first and then layer that one up. So this one's going to have lots of layers, but not rub-ons. It's all laser cuts on this layout. Yeah, I don't think I used any die cuts on this layout at all, just laser cuts and then scraps of paper. So here you can see at the top, I have all those leaves. This little, it's like a lace. I don't know what it's supposed to actually be. I'm guessing lace, like a piece of lace, but it's kind of in an awkward shape. Um, it came in with the laser cuts, obviously, but I decided just to put it up here at the top above the photo, kind of going in the grid format, and that's where I'm going to put my title. But um, otherwise, I don't know how I would use that piece. Anybody else has ideas on how to use that piece? Let me know. I just threw it on the layout. And then I'm going to place some little pumpkins down here at the bottom. And that's just where what are those? Like the laser cut branches, trees. They're not trees, they're weeds. Sunflowers are sticking up. They needed some place at the bottom to kind of be grounded. So that was where the pumpkins came in. So I put those 2 pumpkins at the bottom. And then I'm going to keep tucking in leaves and different laser cuts here. I brought in this one over here, and I'm going to actually put a little bit of foam tape on this one and pop it up just slightly. And that's just because the layers are getting a little bit thick. so I wasn't able to glue it down flat. It wasn't staying, so I decided I would just go ahead and pop it up. I tried not to use foam tape on this layout just because all of it is 49 in market, and 49 in market is very thick. So I was trying my best to not use foam tape. I did end up using foam tape in a couple of places, like I said, with the leaves, the butterfly, and the like acorns that I'm going to place. Yeah, I put one acorn down there at the bottom. I'm going to place another acorn, and it's going to be popped up on play foam. So there's only just a couple of little ones, and this foam tape that I'm using is not very thick, so it's okay. And again, I kind of needed it because I was layering up the pieces. So here's the little acorn that I'm going to pop up down there at the bottom. And then I will place the other little acorn. I have 3 of them. And I'm going to place that one over with the pumpkins. And basically, I just keep grabbing all these little leaves and gluing them in and tucking them in. And um, there's really no rhyme or reason of where they're going. I'm just color wise, going off of if they're green and red and orange. I'm trying to put them in, make them look good. But it was just a random, pieces that I had. And I took every single leaf that I did, that I had in the package, sorry, and I placed it on the layout because I I don't know when I would use them again, and they matched with this one. So I just went ahead and kept tucking them in, and I love it. I love the way that it looks in the end. The title piece is going to be Autumn Fun, and it did say Autumn Days, but I cut the days part off. I threw it in the recycle bin. I'm okay. Um, I just needed the word autumn instead, and we say autumn and fall here in Colorado, so both words are, very usable in Colorado. So I went ahead and used autumn fun instead of fall fun. For the most part, usually I do fall versus autumn, but um, either or, it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to pop some more of these little strips of paper. Again, these were just scraps from that kit that I kept a hold of because I loved the colors of them. I should have went and ordered more of this. It's Cartabella is what it is. It was a Cartabella fall collection, and I loved it. But I did not order more of it. I held back and I didn't order more. And I kind of wish I did because I really love the plaid paper that's in this collection, in this little like X green paper. It has little X's on it. Um, but I didn't. So I'm just using up the scraps. After this layout, it is completely gone. There's nothing left. Um, I'll have those rub-ons that you see to the right. There's a pumpkin in those little strips that look like tape. Those will be left at the end. Those do not make it on the layout. But all the little scraps that I can possibly put on the layout, I put on the layout. And Miss Carrie on the right hand side does have a grid, but she doesn't have it very embellished. So, of course, I over embellish because I just love embellishments. So I'm just over here layering up the little leaves and trying to tuck them in as much as I can. And then I used the scrap papers at the top and bottom. And Miss Carrie does have that in the sketch. So that idea came from the sketch. And I think it kind of looks like the sketch. It definitely, goes in um, its own way, I guess. But it does resemble her sketch. At least I think so. I think I'm almost done. I'm going to tuck in this little butterfly over here. And then I'm going to bring in sequins. And these are actually new sequins that are called dried flowers, I believe. Or is this one? I might have misspoke. I think this one is the other new one. that is brand new to the shop. She just released the October sequence. Yeah, this one's Fall Cider. And I'm going to place down the green, gold, and brown. At first, I placed down a larger orangish colored one. But when I go and glue them down, I decide to trade it out for the green one. So there you can see the green is on there instead. I will hold it up. And then once again, I will have some close-ups for you at the end of this layout. And I will have another close-up with both of the layouts together. And in the album, they will probably go right next to each other just like they show. Except for it will probably be this Autumn Fun one first and then the Pumpkin Ride one. Because I do already have a layout in the album of him with the pumpkin that he picked. But here's some close-ups. Hope you guys enjoyed today's layout and enjoyed having two layouts versus one. But it's still double page. And I will see you guys tomorrow with another layout. And tomorrow is actually Spiegelmom Scraps. And I will have a large sequin shaker again. And using lots of rub-ons also. But I really enjoyed this sketch. Thank you, Miss Carrie. Bye.